Time to look at 3 on a Dare, a Season 2 He-Man episode, which actually feels more like a Season 1 episode. I'll explain in a minute why, but first, the obligatory story synopsis. This episode begins with a crisis as the main communication relay at the palace is out of whack, with Duncan and Adam trying to fix it. Teela's too busy because she's taking 3 kids on a field trip in the only transport whose communicator won't work. I'm sure that won't come back to bite us in the ass. Well, Orko accidentally destroys the relay, and Duncan points out that they need rainbow quartz to fix the communicator. But they don't have any, since A, the shipment of rainbow quartz was late, and B, the only place to get rainbow quartz on Eternia is apparently Snake Mountain. Like, seriously? Where the fuck were they shipping the quartz from originally? Bespin? Haha, just joking. I know Bespin is a gas giant. Moving on. Well, so Teela is giving the kids a lesson on the dangers of nature, like mushrooms.
Is that so, Quill? What's happening?
And then the Stanlin wannabe called Tager gets dared into driving the crawler to Snake Mountain, and Teela tries calling for help, but of course, things don't work out. So in the meanwhile, Adam and Cringer go all Metal Gear Solid trying to find the rainbow quartz. But they run into Merman, forcing them to transform. Teela, of course, gets captured, and the kids are drawn into Snake Mountain, although weirdly they don't get captured right away. Well, eventually He-Man and Skeletor do run into each other, and Skeletor actually plans to let He-Man have the quartz if he leaves the mountain immediately afterwards, but the Snake Mountain PA system suddenly tells them that Teela escaped, so He-Man goes out looking for her and the kids. In the end, He-Man has to take down Skeletor's henchmen in a move similar to a later She-Ra episode.
Ever think of going into the circus?
You ever think of going into the circus?
And he gets the rainbow quartz, and everything turns out fine. And then suddenly Orko does this.
Orko, look out! Oh no!
Okay, that was pretty damn funny. But also, look at how much time the episode devotes to the actual quartz. For fuck's sake, this entire quartz business definitely has a distinct double-edged sword feeling to it. An episode where the entire kingdom's power supply depended on a single rock. I always kind of feel these sorts of episodes are a little heavy-handed, but it does create an interesting scenario for Teela and company. But at the same time, it kinda sucks that this is all the time they devote to the stupid quartz. Now, like I said, this episode is pretty great because in many ways it reminds me of Season 1 episodes. We only have the series' regular characters aside the kids, and there's a clear simplicity to the storyline. Plus, this might be the final episode where we see the complete original Council of Evil together, even if Triclops is just kinda thrown in there. This episode maybe does recycle an awful lot of Season 1 animation as well, but you also get really weird details, how apparently Duncan seems to fix everything with yarn. Also, the writing of this episode is pretty weird, such as when Duncan quips that Teela has a mind of her own.
That woman's got a mind of her own.
I find this line particularly questionable since the script was written by a woman. But there's other things in the script that make no sense, like this scene.
The secrets of Castle Grayskull.
Please, don't say that again.
Say what?
Grayskull?
Of Castle Grayskull.
I really wish he wouldn't do that.
Why is there an earth tremor at Snake Mountain every time Skeletor says Grayskull? There's literally nothing in the episode that explains this. But I also have to admit that Skeletor really gives Beastman a hard time in this episode, which is just hilarious.
It's time to turn He-Man over to a real monster.
Do you know a real one, Beastman?
I get no respect.
Also, one part that really creeps me out is how Skeletor obsesses through this entire episode about capturing Teela specifically, and not, Teela and the kids.
Let me capture her, Skeletor.
Forget it, Furball. Teela's mine.
Oh, I never get to do the fun stuff.
I mean, he does later say that he plans to trade Teela in for the quote-unquote secrets of Grayskull, but again, Commenting on the communicator situation, his intentions seem more than a little unsavory.
She can't call for help. That means no He-Man rushing to her rescue.
So that's 3 on a Dare, a pretty goofy but extremely entertaining Season 2 episode. Even if some parts of it are a bit, questionable, I think this is a very worthwhile episode, which, as I mentioned before, really reminds me of Season 1 in a good way. And that's all from me for now. I'm TheHande Mäkinen. I have the power, so can you.